So, as you may or may not know, Pope Francis has not been in the greatest of shape in the last couple weeks. He has been hospitalized for various health conditions, and the story has been kind of difficult to follow. There's a brief breakdown of the situation on screen from Time Magazine, if that at all interests you. But in times like these, it is the duty of the Catholic to pray for the health of the Holy Father, to wish him recovery, and to pray for the peaceful passing of the Holy Father if it is his time. In this situation, there have been times where that did seem likely. As of a couple days ago, it seems like he's on the road to recovery and stability, but we never know with these things. The Vatican kind of tends to keep um, these situations under wraps. Whether you think that's justified or not is a different question, but they do tend to um, underreport the severity of things like this. They did this with John Paul II, or Saint John Paul II, because he's a saint now, but um, they did that with him, so it's not at all a surprise if that's what they're doing with Pope Francis. Um, so, as I said, it's the duty of the Catholic to pray for the Holy Father. But it's also a duty, I would say, to reflect on how we sort of approach the Holy Father and our spiritual superiors. Because I myself have been guilty, and here's proof of this. I made two videos where I took, I don't know if I'd say I took aim at the Pope, um, but I made remarks that, in retrospect, probably weren't the most, justified remarks that I could have made. Like, I called the Pope woke. Um, I said that the publication of a certain document, in this short here, the Pope messed up. I said that it might be grounds to consider that papal infallibility might be false, and therefore Catholicism might be false. And those were just statements made out of ignorance. And that's why I'm retracting these older videos, because they came at a time when I wasn't as Catholic as I am now. Like, I wasn't super into Catholicism. I was kind of nominally Catholic. Didn't really know which direction I was going in within Christianity, but stayed within the Catholic tradition. And so I felt comfortable making statements such as those. And that's just not something that I get to do. It is not my place, both because it can be considered rash judgment, and I'll go ahead and pull up the definition of rash judgment here from the Catechism, and I'll end up reading it. But also, it's just simply not my place to voice my disagreements with spiritual superiors, especially the Holy Father, in that manner. That's not to say that we can't have disagreements and in good faith with our spiritual superiors as Catholics. We can, but we just can't voice it like that. We can't be irreverent, and we can't approach these authority figures, because, like it or not, they do have spiritual authority over us, with that irreverent, we're going to refute you and you got owned attitude. These are people that we ordinarily need to learn from, and any disagreement should be voiced with respect. I also think that those were made in an era where there wasn't as much maturity as there should have been in some of these videos. And for that, I would like to apologize, because I'm not just doing this as some kind of, oh, this is purely out of something that Catholics need to focus on. Yes, but also it's to apologize and retract any video that seemed insincere, that seemed immature, or wasn't handling the situation with the proper grace and respect that it should have been handled with. And I think that if I put out content like that, that I should definitely hold myself accountable for it, or other people should hold me accountable for it. And I would like to apologize here to any individual that I might have committed the sin of rash judgment against, which is a sin against charity. And rash judgment, by the way, I'll just go ahead and read the definition to you. This is from the Catechism. I believe it's paragraph 2477. He becomes guilty of rash judgment who, even tacitly, assumes as true, without sufficient foundation, the moral fault of a neighbor, of detraction, who without objectively valid reason discloses another's faults and failings to persons who did not know them, and of calumny, who by remarks contrary to the truth harms the reputation of others and gives occasion for false judgments concerning them. So calumny and rash judgments are grave sins against charity. And I fear that I may have committed them against anyone who I have made videos on in the past, not even just Pope Francis. And as a solution, by the way, to this, 2478 says, to avoid rash judgments, everyone should be careful to interpret insofar as possible his neighbor's thoughts, words, and deeds in a favorable way. Every good Christian ought to be more ready to give a favorable interpretation to another's statement than to condemn it. But if he cannot do so, let him ask how the other understands it. And if the latter understands it badly, let the former correct him with love. If that does not suffice, let the Christian try all suitable ways to bring the other to a correct interpretation so that he may be saved. Okay? So what that means is that in the future, I am going to be striving for charitable interpretations of ideas and individuals. Insofar as possible, like you don't want to go overboard with these things. And one of the criticisms that I have of the current leadership is that they kind of go overboard with the dialogue and just kind of want to be nice to each other. But again, that's something that needs to be voiced respectfully. And that's pretty much everything that I have to say. This kind of acts as a retraction and an apology to any video of mine that I may have made that does not follow these principles of charity, may have been calumnious, or may have been a rash judgment, or was just immature. And I hope that I can be held accountable for any of these faults that may happen in the future, because I'm not perfect, obviously. I strive for charitable videos and I strive for charitable conduct and such, but that's not going to happen all the time. So that's why I'm kind of putting this out there, just to say I'm retracting all the videos, which was just 2 about the Holy Father, have been retracted. I no longer stand by them. I think they were ignorant, and I am probably going to avoid criticisms of the leadership, just to avoid having to do any more retractions such as that. But if I do in the future voice disagreements, it will be with charity and with respect and not irreverently. And also, I will do that with any topic that I engage with in the future to the best of my ability. And that's basically all I had to say on that subject. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. God bless.